Hey, it's Nancy Yearout, and welcome to my channel. Welcome to High Road to Humanity. If you've never been here before, this is where I usually interview people from across the globe about spiritual things. And today I am here to talk about the 3 hidden truths about narcissists and the number one secret to protecting yourself. And why am I talking about narcissists today? Well, a little bit about me. I'm an empath and I grew up in a narcissistic household. My mom was a narcissist. God bless her. She's not with us anymore, but she was a narcissist. And I didn't know until, gosh, I would say probably maybe 10 years ago, 15 years ago, maybe that long, I guess. I didn't know what a narcissist was. I knew the traits, but I didn't know what a narcissist was. Okay. And I think a lot of people don't know what a narcissist is. And if you've grown up in a household like that, I mean, I can remember getting to a certain point in my life where I was like, wait a minute, everybody doesn't act like this. People, don't all have these traits. And I started to realize, but I never really had a name for it. So before we get into the 3 hidden truths about narcissists and the number one secret to protecting yourself, I just want to give you some core traits of a narcissist. So if you're just joining me and you don't know, like I didn't know what a narcissist is, let me give you a little bit of information here. First of all, one of the traits is a grandiose, they feel superior. Grandioso, meaning they just think they're better than everybody else. My mom was like that, which is so crazy. I think back, and we were always told, that we were better than everybody else, that we were superior. And now I realize that's one of the traits of a narcissist. Okay. So, and if you have questions as I'm talking today, go ahead and ask me, please. I'm happy, for anybody to come in and ask me any questions you'd like. So the chat is open. The next thing is a lack of empathy. And I want to say, it's really scary to realize that some people don't have empathy. And as an empath, this is why, narcissists are attracted to empaths for a lot of reasons. But empathy is one of the biggest one because they cannot produce their own empathy. So narcissists are just not empathetic people. I can tell you a story of coming home, calling my husband and saying, well, he was my boyfriend at the time, saying, I need to go to the hospital. And him saying, you know what? I have to take my friend to lunch first. That's how you know it's this person is a narcissist. You start to think, wait a minute, what is going on here? What's wrong with this picture? And so that's one of the traits is lack of empathy for other people. They're all about themselves. Okay. They're very manipulative. You need to know that too. These are the traits. So if you have a boss or if you have somebody in your family or if you're in a relationship and you're wondering, is this person narcissistic? That's one of the traits. They have a very fragile self-esteem. And again, they have a sense of entitlement. Okay. They are actually arrogant. So, they think they're God's gift. So I just want you to know that part. Now, let's get into the 3 hidden truths about narcissists. And let me just start with the first one. And the first one is to let you know that narcissists are really insecure people. Okay. They're very empty inside. So what they do is they construct like a false self to hide who they really are. They're not authentic. Like today, I was going to do a PowerPoint presentation and tell you guys about narcissism. And I was like, no, I just need to be real and tell you exactly what's going on here and, why people feel the way they do about narcissistic people and why it's such a thing right now. I will tell you this, there is a lot of people on the planet who are empaths, really just here to help humanity. But there are so many people that are narcissists because they're all about me, me, me. And so the empaths, not realizing it, are attracted to the people who are needing the light that they can't produce themselves. Okay. A narcissist cannot produce their own light. So that's when they produce, they have an empath that will come in and they take their light from them. That's how this works. Okay. So the second thing that you need to know, the second hidden truth about narcissists is that they feed on your emotional energy. And that's what I was just talking about. So if you're an empath and you have a really bright light, narcissists can't produce their own light. They can't produce that good energy. So when they have an empath with them, they basically are using their energy to elevate themselves. So because they crave admiration, attention, they're the person at the party that's the life of the party because they need that instant gratification to keep them going. They need that in order to keep their ego high. Okay. So they do feed on that emotional energy. Now, that's a lot of times they'll create chaos or gaslight, or they'll, tell you one thing and then really it's something else. And then you'll start to realize that they're lying. And, narcissists do whatever they have to do to pump themselves back up, even if they have to throw you under the bus. Okay, so they will do that. They don't love you for who you are if you're in a relationship with a narcissist. They love the energy and the reflection that you give them. Okay, so that's what's going on here, and that's how this works. So if you're in a relationship and some of these traits are starting to feel, hitting home with you, or you're starting to recognize, I guess I should say, some of these traits, you may be living with a narcissist, your boss could be a narcissist, your parent could be a narcissist. Okay, there's tons of narcissistic people out there, unfortunately. Okay. Now, the third hidden truth about narcissists is that they will never see the truth unless they choose to wake up. They don't want to change. You can't change a narcissist. I guess that's something that I really need to say. They will protect. They will blame you. They'll even rewrite reality to make things look okay. They're all about appearances. They're all about how things look. And spiritually, they don't want to change. They don't want to grow. They don't want to learn. They don't want to elevate. They like things the way they are. That's how narcissists operate. They protect. They blame. True transformation is possible for a narcissist, but only through deep humility, and facing their shadow side. We all have that light side and that dark side. So it's facing that shadow side. So is it possible for narcissists to heal? Yeah, but they won't. They usually just won't do it. Okay. Now, I've talked a lot about some of the traits, but what I want to talk about now, as far as narcissists goes, some of the emotional and behavior signs. They are very charming, but the charm does turn to control. You may start to feel confused about reality because they gaslight you and they deny things they said, or they twist the truth, to make, or then you start to question yourself, is this real, or did this really happen? And then you actually start doubting yourself. So that's another thing I want to bring up. You do begin to walk on eggshells because you're always careful, because you don't want to upset the narcissist, because they can become really violent, just so you know. That's what happened to me. I've seen this happen where they become very violent if you don't go along with what they want you to do or what they have to say. So then you start to walk on eggshells. It's really a scary thing, because you want to, and then you adjust your behavior, to avoid their anger. And then they can be very cold, if you don't do what they ask of you. So there is a hot and cold effect. They give love and attention or approval, but it's never consistent. It's always inconsistent. So now they absolutely, just so you know, cannot handle criticism. So if you really want to get to them, well, actually it causes a lot of trouble, because if you criticize a narcissist, they really will get defensive and angry, and they can attack. They really can. And they can be really, really ruthless. So you got to remember, this is a personality disorder. Narcissism is a personality disorder. So control, they decide what you do. They want to control you and who you see, how much money you spend. They control everything. If you're in a situation, if you're in a narcissistic relationship, they do control everything. Okay. So how do you get out of a narcissistic relationship? Well, the number one secret to protecting yourself is to put up boundaries and begin to walk away. You see, a narcissist can't handle if somebody is not, attentive to them. But they will walk, if you walk away from a narcissist, they won't be able to handle it. It really will bruise their ego. So walking away from the narcissist and putting out boundaries is the number one secret. Okay. To, protecting yourself. Because when you walk away, when you change your phone number, you don't live in the same place anymore. You do all these things and they can't get to you anymore. That's the best thing you can do for yourself. Pull back your energy, and for them too, and let them move on. Okay. Now, it's taken me many, many years to heal from narcissistic behavior. I had to, like a lot of people, it comes to a point where you either go through a divorce or, there's a death in the family or something that makes you go within and work on yourself and figure out, okay, what's going on here? So just so you know, what I've done is I've worked on myself and I've healed from narcissistic behavior. And I want to let everybody know the chat is open if you have questions. So here we go. I better say that, right? If you guys have questions. So I guess what I want to tell people more than anything is you can recover from either growing up in a narcissistic household or being exposed to a narcissist at work or being in a narcissistic relationship. What did I do? Well, I did certain things. I connected with the divine. I connected with my angels. And I put together all these different steps that I did, put it together as a small class, I guess you want to say. I hate to say class, but it is. It's instructions on how to heal from narcissistic behavior. And it's on my website, Yearout.com. And if you want to go on there, you can go and take the class and check it out and learn how to heal. And it does work because I've got the joy back in my life and I've taken my power back and I've healed and I'm a different person because of it. And it's actually uplifted me and changed me in a positive way. So that's why I put the class together. And that's why I'm here today talking about it, because there are so many narcissistic people in our world today. And I want you to know that you definitely can heal. Just go to my website, nancyyearout.com, to take the class, or you can book a reading with me. Now, the first 10 people that sign up for the class are going to, the first 7 people who sign up for the class are going to get 30 minutes with me complimentary. And that will be to either connect you with your angel, to do an energy healing, or to do a reading and ask some questions, or just some coaching, whatever you need or whatever you require. And that will be one-on-one. And then the next 7 people will get a free book, and it's going to be, I'm going to send you my first book, Wake Up, the Universe is Speaking to You. So this is for the next 7 people who sign up for the class. And I just hope, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask. This is a tough thing for me to talk about. It's not something that I really wanted to do, but I really felt Spirit really pushed me and said, you should get on and talk about this and let people know there is a way to heal from narcissistic behavior. All right, you guys. Well, that's it for today. If you have any questions, please, you can email me, nancyyearout@gmail.com. Go to my website, nancyyearout.com. And that's where you can connect with me. And I wish everybody a blessed day.